could you guys give me your favorite thing about America in your best American accents?
Well, Charlie, it is so great to be here. We just love coming to America and being on your show. It's a great honor.
G'day and welcome to the Big Down Under podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton, and today I'm having two guests join me here live in the studio here in LA. Richard Wilkins and his son Christian are joining me, which is quite something for me personally to be interviewing maybe the most iconic entertainment reporter in the history of Australia. There's no one better. There's no one bigger than Richard. And, I'm somewhat of an entertainment reporter, or I like to think of myself as one. So to be interviewing the goat of all goats, it's amazing. I actually didn't know about him before this interview that, he's not even Australian. he's a New Zealander guy. So maybe I miscast the episode. But Christian, his son, is Australian. But Christian actually has moved over here to live in Los Angeles to try his luck at acting and modeling and that sort of stuff. So I talked to them about their father-son dynamic. It's interesting to me that Christian could have used the good Wilkins last name in Australia and propelled himself to God knows where, but instead he's decided to come over here, try to do it himself, and he's having, some success at it too. So I like talking to these guys about their sense of national identity, their careers and their place inside the entertainment industry, because God, Richard has had just the career of careers. He really is an Aussie icon, and to get to meet him and his son really was an honor. So without further ado, here's Dickie, Richard Wilkins, and his son, Christian. Jeez, you guys got an opposite wardrobe.
Constantly.
Yeah.
He's always in that. That's his uniform.
I just wear this stuff all the time. Am I allowed to keep my shoes on?
Yes, that is hilarious.
I just hate shoes. It's a Kiwi thing.
So it's a big day for you guys today. It's Anzac Day.
Anzac Day,
obviously, where we honour our Australian and New Zealand forces, who served and died.
And still do serve.
And I know you, as a family, have a very special connection to the Anzacs. And also, I will mention, it's Christian's 30th birthday today.
It is, as a matter of fact, yeah. Anzac Day has a special place in our little family because, at the risk of dating or aging myself considerably, my grandfather...
there at Gallipoli.
Well, it's 100 and something years ago now, but my grandfather was there. He was part of the New Zealand Medical Corps. Mm-hmm. So he was some of these poor buggers who had half their faces blown off. He would sort of be wiring their jaws up on the beaches of Turkey, in what is now known as the Gallipoli campaign,
right?
Which we honour to this day in Australia and New Zealand. Very special, solemn day, and it's also old mate's birthday, so it's a bittersweet day for us, really.
Yeah, you're over here in America, obviously visiting Christian, who lives here now. It just must be like a day for you, Richard, where you reflect on the past, like your father served as well.
He did.
Not as an Anzac. Was an Anzac?
Well, they're all Anzacs one way or another.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the original Anzacs were the ones who landed at Gallipoli.
Right, but he served and
he never saw active service, but at the tail end of the Second World War, my dad trained as a pilot in Vancouver, where for some reason a whole bunch of Kiwis found themselves training to be pilots. So fortunately, he never saw active service. But yeah, I mean, I think for all Aussies and Kiwis, the spirit of Anzac lives on. It's a big day.
And, to be here celebrating your son's 30th, you must think about the past, about the future, about your own life and career. It seems like today is almost like a momentous, important day.
Well, his birthday is quite an occasion, 30 years,
yeah.
And he's going strong. This is his home now. He's based himself in Los Angeles and is following his dream of acting and modeling and presenting and doing all that sort of stuff and going very well. I'm endlessly proud of him along with my other kids as well.
Totally. And Christian, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're over here doing What sort of stuff have you been doing since you got here?
Mostly acting and modeling. I mean, I'm on an O1 visa, so that's exclusively what I can do.
Right.
But it's been great. I mean, I came here for the first time with Dad when I was 9 years old. I think it was for a Pirates of the Caribbean premiere.
Oh.
And I just fell in love with LA. I always loved movies. I used to always watch Dad at the Oscars, and every year when I was able to, would watch all the movies nominated. And to kind of be here now, it's such a dream come true. Every day I wake up and I'm just so excited. Even seeing the Hollywood sign,
Yeah.
as like lame as that might seem, I just love it. It excites me so much.
He always took a day off school on Oscars Day because the Oscars are live in Australia at like 10 or 11 o'clock or something, midday maybe. And he would just never go to school on Oscars Day.
In
I
fact,
used to have to write a note. And say,
I only went to university one day before I dropped out, but it wasn't even the first day. It was the second day because the first day the Oscars were on.
Wow. That's a Super Bowl for the Wilkins.
Yes,
sort of,
absolutely.
Very good.
And so you could have stayed in Australia and been in part of the industry. Obviously, your dad's there, and so that would open a few doors. But you decided to come across the other side of the world anyway. Why did you decide to do that when maybe it would have been easier in Australia?
Yeah, I definitely think it would have been easier, but I kind of like the challenge of doing the unknown. I think the things that scare us most are the things that we should chase. And I think that part of me also wanted to prove to myself that I could do it on my own 2 feet, you know, and I'm so proud to be Dad's son, and I'm so proud that he does open some doors for me back home. But I think there's a real joy in knowing that you kind of opened up those doors and walked through yourself.
No, totally.
Yeah, I don't open too much over here.
Yeah, the Wilkins name doesn't go as far here.
Not as far.
I
Been
do
thrown out
love
of a
when
few, but-
it's sometimes the Daily Mail still call me a Nepo baby living in LA, and I'm like, look, I'm not a Kardashian. It doesn't really do very much. It's
Right.
Occasionally an Australian might like meet me and be like, oh, can I buy you a drink? I loved you on Dancing with the Stars. And I'm like, sure.
You were on Dancing with the Stars Australia.
was.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Runner up.
Runner-up.
Should have won.
Amazing. You know, Robert Irwin just got put on
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars America.
Yeah.
How you think he's going to go on that?
I think he's going to nail it. I mean, half the battle is the personality and getting that across, and he's got that plus.
Yeah, we had a drink with Robert the other night, and he's just turned 21, so he's allowed to drink here now.
Oh, wow.
Incredible, yeah.
How's he enjoying that? Like his first beers or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, first beer's here.
Yeah.
Right, in Australia.
No,
True.
Robert is going to explode here because he's such a beautiful boy, person. But of course, this Bonds campaign that he's doing, which is an Aussie brand, right?
Yeah.
He's wearing a snake around his neck and little else, but
He's got another snake in his pants.
Right,
wow.
right, trouser snake.
Wow. There you go. But Bindi, his big sister, won it 10 years ago. So she won.
Yes.
So he's got a challenge on his hands, but I think it's going to be great for him.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And how else have you found like American life? Have you sort of like been going out or meeting Americans? And
Yeah, I love it. I think the accent definitely gets you a long way in making friends over here.
Yeah.
But I definitely find that I go out a lot more here. I just feel like there's a different level of acceptance when you go out and you might not necessarily fit the norm.
We're special here, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've benefited from being Aussie in
Totally.
America. Now you're over here. You must have, people coming up to you and like wanting to, get to know you better just because you're Australian at the very least.
And definitely if you ever want to drink at a bar, if you say g'day, suddenly the bartender's giving you extra special attention. It's great. And I think that a lot of especially in the queer scene, it's just so much larger here. And it's really great to kind of feel like you're part of something really big and connected. I mean, Australia will always be my home and I'll always appreciate that. But something new and exciting that you're ready to jump into is also really amazing.
Totally.
It's not such a novelty these days. I remember when I first started coming here before you guys were born, back in sort of the early 80s,
1900.
I guess. Yeah. And it was a real novelty, with Paul Hogan, Shrimp on the Barbie, Crocodile
Totally.
Dundee, Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
She had a koala blues store on Melrose, and that was all the Aussies used to meet there and buy Vegemite and stuff like that. And it was a real novelty then. But these days, and Aussies, breakthrough roles in movies and stuff like Mel Gibson or something. But these days, Aussies have just permeated society over here.
I mean, per capita, we must be doing almost as well as the Americans over
especially
here.
in West Hollywood. I feel like that's like Australians have taken over West Hollywood quite a bit.
Yeah, well, as lots of people have said, when an Aussie moves to Hollywood or moves to LA, they're not here for a haircut, obviously. You know, they're here to work and to follow their dreams and work hard.
That's true.
And I think Aussies and Kiwis have a real good sort of work ethic.
Now, you, I know, were like offered work over here. You probably have been offered work over here numerous times throughout your career.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could have been a star over here. It could have been The Tonight Show with Richard Wilkins. It could have been like quite easily.
Damn it.
I know. I mean, do you think about, why did you say no to those opportunities? And do you ever think about what could have been?
No, I don't dwell on it. When I started doing MTV Australia was the first spin-off, the first international affiliate. And we started doing the show on the 16th of April, 1987, so 6 years after MTV launched here. And I came over, they asked me to come. We used to do, it was like a rock and roll Tonight Show. It was 3 hours on a Saturday night and 3 hours on a Sunday. No, Friday and Saturday. Anyway, but they offered me work over here over summer, so I would come over and fill in for, downtown Julie Brown and Adam Curry and some of those other people.
There before my time, I believe.
Yeah, sorry. West 57, long time ago. West 57th Street, where the studios were, and I really loved it. I think I did a month there, trudging through the snow and going into the studios. And at the end of that time, they offered me, you want to come over here, and I'd only really started in Australia, and I had young kids, and part of me would have loved to have given it a crack, see what would have happened. But I said no. I was sort of surprised to hear myself say that at the time. But
hard decision, very hard decision.
Sort of. It didn't seem hard at the time.
Right.
I think as much as Dad loves his work, the thing that really kind of is the through line for him is how much he loves his kids. And at that point, you already had 3 kids who were all quite young. And I think the idea of sort of pulling them out of their known or not being able to see them as frequently as you could when you're living in Australia.
Yeah, well, I wasn't with their mum, so I meant, it's not like she would have come and brought the whole family sort of thing. So, the kids won.
Yeah. What is Richard like as a dad? What was he like growing up?
Gee, look at the time.
No, I feel so lucky to have him as a dad. I mean, we were always best friends. I particularly always wanted to follow in his footsteps, and I was so excited to kind of go to work with him in the morning. He'd pull me out of bed when I was like 5 years old and bring a duvet, and I'd sit in the dressing room and fall asleep, and he'd have a little sign on the door saying, "Please be quiet, child sleeping." And I used to just love following him around and seeing what he did. But I think most of all, the thing that I'm really grateful for professionally is the fact that he gave me a clear example that you can actually do something that you really love to do. Work doesn't need to be a burden. And I think seeing that from such a young age really kind of inspired me to also go out there and follow the things that I love to do. Because I think so many kids, they do feel like you kind of just work to live, and then the weekends are when you can have your fun. But to actually know that you can have fun 7 days a week is really inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he always, just came with me. It wasn't, before the pandemic and Zoom, if someone needed to be interviewed, it was on a plane and off you go sort of thing. And
you went around?
I went, I covered the Oscars here for 20 years. Covered every Harry Potter movie, for example. We did the junket during the making of the film, and then when it was over and the big premieres, it's like, Christian, you need to come with me this weekend because your mum's da-da-da. Where are we going? We're going to London for the Harry Potter premiere. Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Can we see a show while we're there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to see? Les Mis. Oh, okay. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember one time at one of the last Harry Potter premieres, we were sort of lined up on the red carpet with all the other journalists.
Leicester Square.
Daniel Radcliffe got out of the car and kind of skipped the first 10 and was like, "Richard, how are you?" And I was probably like 15 at the time. I was like, "Oh my God, Harry Potter knows my dad."
That's amazing. Is there sort of like downsides to being his son? Like, I imagine there's expectation, there's pressure. You want to form your own path. Obviously, you came over here. So did you struggle at some points being Richard's son?
Not necessarily. I mean, I just always I was really proud to be his son, and I've always said that if I ever managed to just do half as much as he's done, I would be happy with that. And I think that Dad never really set that expectations for his kids. He was always so proud of us regardless of what we did, whether it was following in his footsteps or not. And I think the moving here and trying to prove myself was more something for me and less something for anyone else.
No, totally.
I know that's probably not the juicy answer.
No, I mean, it doesn't need to be juicy. I see it. I see it.
No, he's working really hard and doing classes and auditioning and, doing demos and things all over the place. And, you know, I believe that something great will happen. Now he's just kind of got to get lucky. You know, the right thing's got to come along, and I think it will.
What's your goal over here? To like
Wants to be the Aussie guy on TMZ.
Yeah.
Wow. You even got the long hair. Oh no.
I just need to grow a beard.
Yeah.
Still got that on me.
True.
It's still bum fluff.
You
But I
can't-
just turned 30, so
But if I had a chin like that, I probably wouldn't grow a beard over it.
well, thank you. I'll take that.
Yes.
It's acting has always been my dream. And that was the thing that excited. I first started going to acting classes when I was 5 years old. I just love being able to dive into a character, and any director or writer that really gives their characters a lot. I mean, being in like a Baz film would be the ultimate dream. So
Have you like been in anything since you got over here?
I've done a couple short films, and I did a play last year, which was a lot of fun. I mean, definitely the pond is so much bigger.
And it's also hard to get your footing, like with the rep and the manager, PR. Like, there's so many people involved in trying to get you a job. I feel
Totally.
like it takes a lot of time before you
Yeah.
get that.
And also, you know, realistically, I'm aware of what I look like. My casting is definitely a lot smaller than someone that might be able to go for a lot more things.
Are you
but,
typecast?
Probably a bit, but I think that that's kind of the thing that I'm working on, really kind of broadening my horizons. And I think that in this day and age, kind of going back 10 years, the gay character was always kind of the same thing. Whilst now a character can kind of be anything and be gay. It's not just the quippy, like, bitchy friend. And I really love that we're kind of living in an era where it's sort of a second thought as to what their sexuality is. And now I've forgotten what the question was.
What have you done? His timing wasn't ideal. He got his visa and moved over here a week before the writers' strike. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
That doesn't help.
everything shut down for 6 months or whatever it was.
Would you play like a straight character?
I'd suddenly give it a red heart.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, yeah, there's so many opportunities here, and a lot of the struggle makes it worthwhile.
Totally. And I think it's the thing that keeps you hungry.
Yeah.
You know, I think that it's so easy to be like, oh, the industry is so tough and I don't know if I can do this. But realistically, you just need to keep hustling, and you need to keep sending out those emails, and you need to keep going to all the classes and all the auditions and self-submitting and doing all the things. And I think that's actually kind of what makes it worth it in the end, is the fact that you know that you did really work for it.
When he came out of school, he went to New York and did that acting class. What was it? Atlantic Theatre Group or something?
Yeah, with David Mamet.
Yeah, I took him over there and got him set up. It was quite, how old was he? 17 or 18 or something?
Yeah.
7 weeks in the Big Apple. That was pretty big.
Amazing.
So much fun.
Amazing. You must miss him though, Richard. I mean, I know you got other family and kids and stuff in
Yeah,
Australia.
I got one of everything over there. Yeah, of course. I'm never happier than when I lock the front door and all the kids are home, and you know there are 3 little grandkids now. Mia and I are there, and we're all. He's an awesome cook, this guy, and he cooks, and we just hang out together. That's my happy place.
And he really does lock the door. Like, we'll be halfway through lunch and suddenly the door's locked, and I'm like, okay, people need to leave. Like, what are you doing?
Hey, I wanted to talk about your moment with Jeff Goldblum.
Well, here we go. Yep.
Just famously, Richard announced that Jeff Goldblum was dead, live on air.
It was a big day.
It was a big day.
Well, it was, yes. Well, I wrote about it in my little book, and I started the chapter by saying, first Farrah Fawcett, then Michael Jackson, and now Jeff Goldblum. It was shaping up as a very bad day. Yeah, I woke that morning. It's never a good sign when my phone rings at like 2 a.m. and it's like, who? And it's like Farrah Fawcett, and it's like, oh, dear.
Was it the same day?
Same
Yeah.
day.
Oh, no
So I'm
way.
in at work and you know, paying tribute to the late great. And then all of a sudden we got reports, you guys were obviously all over it, but reports that Michael had been found
Right.
dead in his mansion in Holmby Hills, if my memory serves me correct. And
Yeah, that was our biggest. That was kind of launched TMZ almost, that
yeah.
story.
Well, there was rolling coverage, and we were plucking coverage from everywhere. So no commercial breaks. There was nothing. There was our news reporter, Carl and Lisa, who were the hosts of the show, and myself, and we were just, you know, pulling reports from everywhere and doing crosses and trying to find out until ultimately Jermaine announced the death at the Cedar Sinai, if my memory serves me. But yeah, somewhere in that, our sports guy handed me a piece of paper saying, Hollywood actor Jeff Goldblum's fallen off a cliff in New Zealand and been pronounced dead. And we all sort of looked at each other, what the hell's that about? And so it was from there. And then he brought it up again. So I don't know. I still, to this day, don't know whether he stitched me up or whether.
Oh, really?
So anyway, he brought it back. New Zealand police have confirmed. And so somewhere in the middle of the Michael Jackson, stuff, I did happen to say, we are getting reports. So I did sort of semi-cover my ass.
You were right about that.
We are getting reports that Hollywood actor Jeff Goldblum has, passed away in New Zealand. So that was fine, and we didn't do any more on that story, fortunately. That was all good until Jeff Goldblum heard about it and announced that he was actually okay. And
wow.
His mum actually heard the report, as I understand it.
If that was a stitch-up by your sports guy,
yeah,
what
his
a stitch-up.
mum heard it?
Well, I think Jeff's, I've tried to
The
forget
poor
his
mom.
Yeah. But anyway, it turned out to be
hearing
quite a
about
big...
your son passing
Exactly.
from
Jeff-
some Australian.
From a very trusted, reliable
It's
journalist in Australia.
Jeff went on the Stephen Colbert show that night and read his own eulogy.
Oh, my God.
No one will miss Jeff Goldblum more than me. He was not only a friend and a mentor, but he was also me.
So it was like I wanted to disappear, between the floorboards, but we still carried on with the Michael Jackson thing, and I think we put a special to air that night, and the following day I flew over here because there were all stories about a funeral or whatever happening up at Neverland, and which didn't eventuate. But anyway, I was here for a while. But
You bumped into Jeff?
well, the next time I saw Jeff, my first words, he came around to the house, actually. We were doing an interview around at our place. And my first words to him were, I'm sorry about that. And he said, oh, no problem. Easy mistake to make. And we've remained in touch and seen each other several times and have developed a great relationship and haven't really talked about that incident anymore. He used to play at a beautiful little club in Los Feliz called Rockwell on a Tuesday night.
Falling off a cliff in New Zealand is not a bad way. It's quite a spectacular.
It is. It is.
I don't know where to make that up is like quite an elaborate. It sounds too complicated.
And also, it feels really appropriate for Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it does.
Like, he can't just pass away.
Yeah, found
He
in a
needs to
leather suit at the
fall
bottom of
off a cliff in New Zealand.
Totally.
He is such a beautiful, kooky, wonderful talent. He's a brilliant jazz pianist.
I know. He's got an album out.
He's got a new album out.
Yes.
With the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra, which is his trio.
Hey, your American accent's not too bad, Richard.
I don't think that's true.
Could you guys give me your favorite thing about America in your best American accents?
My favorite thing about America and my best American accent.
That's just what he said.
I love myself a chugachino from Alfred.
You guys can talk to each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, chugachino. Have you ever tried one? It's got chugga mushroom.
I just want to know why they call it.
Yours is like a bit New York. It's a bit like, hey, I'm walking here.
I bumped Cindy. Cindy Law was a good friend of ours, and she was in Sydney. Hello, how you doing? How's that kid of yours? His name's Christian. I know his name's Christian. He's good, that kid of yours. He's a good kid, that kid of yours. She was referred to as that kid.
That's funny.
When he was studying in New York acting, Cindy was sort of there with her.
So your favorite thing about America?
Favorite thing about I think America's got the best and worst.
In American accent.
An American accent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
I do this actually. This is
fun.
the open to every episode. Every episode opens with the celebrity doing their American accent. So this is going to be your open. Make it a good one.
Charlie.
Oh, shit.
Well, Charlie, it is so great to be here. We just love coming to America and being on your show. It's a great honor.
That was pretty good.
I don't know that.
That was pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, and I went with friggin' chugachino from an Alfred.
No, I think America is just a great country. As I said, it's got the best and worst of everything in the world.
Do you ever get like starstruck, like running into any celebrities when you over here or anything? Probably no one right now would make you starstruck.
Oh, I think I've met, I've met a lot of people over the years.
You've met everybody.
Yeah. I remember going to interview Barbara Streisand.
Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce's lovely. She's disarmingly lovely when you sit down
Yeah,
opposite
but
her.
she's still Beyonce.
She is Beyonce, that's true.
So nervous. Is there anyone that you think would make you nervous or starstruck?
Well, see, my theory is the further you fly or travel to interview someone, the more time you have to think about it.
Yeah.
If they're in Sydney and at the Park Hyatt Hotel on the other side of the bridge, you kind of, as I'm driving over there, I think, shit, what am I going to ask her?
Hey, I was just thinking of questions in my car for you guys.
Oh,
Just then.
But it's so
I'm
special.
surprised you drove.
Yeah.
You drive yourself. But, you know, if you got to fly to New York to interview Madonna or something, then you've got a lot of
Yeah,
time to think,
yeah.
shit, what's my first question?
You are a huge Beatles fan. Like, surely still meeting Paul is very...
I've met Paul a few times, yeah. I interviewed Paul. It was his first interview after George Harrison passed away, and I remember that.
Wow.
I thought long and hard about that. Yeah, interviewing those kind of people, Bruce Springsteen. You know, I love talking to Ringo, mentioning the Beatles. He's like, you know, peace and love. You know, hello, it's Ringo.
Oh wow, you can do any accent.
Any
Like you
accent,
get
any accent. At all.
Wow, that's great.
No, I'm interested in people's stories and people's journeys, and songwriters in particular. You know, I love the fact that 1 minute there's nothing, it's a blank piece of paper, and then an hour or two or a week later, there's a song that the whole world can sing along to.
Because I haven't even mentioned that before you started your career in
I was a
entertainment,
bad songwriter, yeah.
you were an amazing songwriter. Like you were in a successful Kiwi band.
Kind of, sort of, a little bit successful.
You were quite successful.
Had a
So,
couple of hits, yeah.
could I ask, who are some of the most famous people in your phone contacts?
Oh, that would be revealing, wouldn't it? I don't know. Keith and Nicole.
Keith and Nicole. Okay, you don't have to reveal anymore, Richard. Or Dickie. Do you prefer? Is it offensive that I haven't been calling you Dickie?
It is a little...
Have you
it's
noticed?
actually un-Australian.
I know.
And we will get Albo on the phone.
Yeah, I'm
For
sure you
those
will.
Americans, that is our prime minister.
All right, let's do Dickie.
Yeah, Alba's in the phone. Yeah, no, well, yeah. I find it strange when people I've never met before, like my bank manager the other day called me Dickie, and that was just weird. You know? But strangers, you know, yell, hey, Dickie. You know,
That's good.
Which I quite like, yeah.
That's good. So I know that you had trouble with like an AI type thing a little while ago. I just
Yeah,
wanted
I've
to
had
talk
problems
about,
with a lot of things. That's
You have.
I
I just want to talk about how, AI and entertainment in general, is that like, are actors and people in entertainment worried about AI and what it's going to do to the industry, or are you excited about it?
think it's kind of weird now that you mentioned the Beatles. You can probably with AI say, you know, write a song that sounds a bit like the Beatles about, you know,
You can.
you can, and it's probably sounds a bit like the Beatles.
Yeah.
I think that perhaps we might get to a stage where it does sound like the Beatles, but I think that the thing that we love about songwriting and the things that humans create is the flaws in it. And I don't think that AI has that level yet. It's those little imperfections that we really find heart in. And I think that that's kind of what protects humans in the creative process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but it's
agree
only
with
just started. I mean, imagine what it's going to be doing. Imagine what they're thinking of now. Some guy going, what if we, you know, God, imagine where it'll be. We saw a car with no bloody driver on the way over here.
Waymo.
that. Oh, you saw a Waymo over the way? On
Yes.
The
It
yeah.
was very
It was
exciting.
speeding too.
He didn't like it.
The Waymo was
It was
speeding?
not
I just made
speeding.
But when I see these Waymos, and if an Australian's listening to this, it's basically cars that drive themselves, autonomous. It just blows your mind. And I'm just telling my 4-year-old, look at that, self-driving car. And to her, it's like not special. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, but isn't that incredible seeing those?
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's funny to think about how different generations adapt to something. Like my little sister the other day had to drive someone's car, and it had like a proper key. And she was like, "Where's the button to start the car?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "You put the key in and you turn it. And
Right.
That's how it starts." And I mean,
like a front door.
your daughter's probably gonna
Totally.
grow up in an era where that's completely normal.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
people used to drive themselves.
Totally.
What people wear.
Flying.
I remember Neil Finn coming back from England once, and he was telling me about, he said, you know, they've got these things like in the wall of the bank where you can like put a thing in and you get money out of the wall of the bank. So
Blows your mind.
what do you mean? So you get money out of the wall of the bank. It's like, I said, come on. So what do we call those?
ATMs.
An ATM, yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, but
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
ATM. I knew that.
You're pretty much the Harvey Levin of Australia.
Is that good or bad?
I'd say it's good.
Yeah.
Other people might have
Hi,
something
boss.
different. Yeah, no, but I mean, if anyone's the Harvey Levin of Australia, it's probably you. How does that sit with you, firstly?
Well, I would like to meet the good man while we're here, if that's possible. But he's a freaking legend. And has worked
you
hard
were
and he's built an
included
empire.
in the Rolling Stones Australia. Was it top 10, top 100 Australian icons?
I don't know, top something. Yeah. Well, it's nice to make the cover.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
I'm surprised that it hasn't been like a TMZ Australia type, Like what I do every day is like interviewing celebrities on the street with my video camera.
Yeah.
There's none of that really in Australia.
We just use your vision.
Yeah, true.
I think it's probably also less exciting to be like, this person from Home and Away was seen at the RSL.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
It's a population thing, and this is the center of the pop culture sort of, celebrity thing, the gossip central, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I've also tried to steer a line between sort of entertainment news and gossip, not suggesting, I've tried to stay away from the scuttlebutt, notwithstanding the odd little Jeff Goldblum moment. But, I've tried to focus on solid entertainment stuff and feature interviews and things rather than delving into the lifestyles of the, celebrity world.
That actually reminded me that you became the story for a while when COVID was breaking out, and then you had an interaction with Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks, and then you were like one of the first Australians to...
I remember that news bulletin that night because I bumped into Tom and Rita. So I got the Hollywood strain. How about that?
I mean, if you're going to get COVID, get it from Tom Hanks.
Which didn't actually turn out to be that bad. But back in those days, I remember the night that I got the bad phone call saying, you've got it. And you have to tell everybody, right? No one wanted to be the first person to take it to work. So I remember seeing the news bulletin that night saying there are now 171 people in Australia with the coronavirus, including our own Richard Wilkins,
Scary.
And he was doing Dancing with the Stars at the time, and he was on live television that very night, and I knew I had to tell him, but I didn't, and he'd been home. So he was in Melbourne doing, and I was in Sydney. And I had to ring him. I waited till he'd finished his performance and then rang, and he was furious with me. He was screaming and crying. He said, why couldn't you tell me before a publicist? So they were all over him, obviously. And he had to, we're obviously in lockdown quarantine. The next 2 weeks, I think he had to dance with his partner on the roof of the hotel that they were all staying in. It was actually very cool.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was quite a thing back in the day. It was sort of, at the risk of being dramatic, but it was felt like a sort of a death sentence for
especially when you got it like one of the first ones. It would have been very scary.
It was very scary, yeah.
So what are your plans with the rest of your birthday now? Now you're turning 30.
Turning 30.
You got big plans to celebrate?
I'm going to go to an esthetician and get all of this pulled back so I look 21.
Is that right?
No, I'm kidding.
I was kidding. You don't need it.
Then we're going to go and get COVID.
Yeah. We're going to my favorite restaurant in LA, and then I've got 30 of my friends meeting me at one of my favorite gay bars because it's disco night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And we're on the QF12 back to Sydney.
QF12. Mm-hmm. I work at LAX mainly trying to find these celebrities. I could just probably give you a lift.
Sure. Yeah.
No.
Straight to Tom Bradley.
Straight to Tom Bradley. Well, it's been so nice meeting you and getting to know you guys. I was keen to have you on because, the king of Australian entertainment and his son, coming over here to America, it's just like, it's an interesting story. And it's been, learning more about you through research and talking to you now. You're amazing guys.
Well,
you've achieved so much and you will. It was so nice talking to you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
Congratulations on your success too, Charlie.
Kind of, I guess. I don't know.
Man,
What do you mean?
I mean, I got a, Big Down Under, the podcast.
No, you're kicking
you've
big
got
goals.
This flat
You've got a
football.
flat football.
Yeah,
You've
I got
got a Paul Kelly book.
Yeah, you've got a kangaroo
scrotum.
balls.
Yeah, I'm doing all right with
What else does a girl need?
You've got a picture up there on the wall. No, mate, it's lovely to meet you and to see a little bit of Australiana blazing away here at TMZ. It's great.
Can I just do one thing before we go?
Do it.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Cheers. So, Christina,
Cotton!
how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are
I'm
you?
good. Has it been a good week here at TMZ?
It's been a great week. It's always a great week.
You are out just about every night on some red carpet.
You keep saying that. I mean, I came here from Australia to do stuff. I didn't come here to sit on my butt.
I
think differently.
Yeah, well, I came here to sit on my butt, like, in a nicer setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
In a cushier chair.
Okay.
So you went to a few events. You went to the Hulu event.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, this week I went to the Hulu Gets Real event for our sister site toofab.
Yes.
So, first of all, such a great event.
Okay.
It was to showcase all of their new reality shows for this year. Khloe Kardashian and Scott Disick were there.
Wow.
I met Khloe, big Kardashian fan. That was really exciting. She's got a new show coming out.
Your friends home must go, wow, look at you, Christina. You're up there like rubbing shoulders with Khloe Kardashian.
It is, yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, everyone's, yeah.
Must be fun for you. Like,
It is.
Khloe-
Oh my God, I love it. Like
Yeah.
that event was very, very cool. Like
Right.
that was up in Beverly Hills, and I thought this is like why I moved here. This is cool.
And you met none other than Australia's very own.
Robert Irwin,
Mm-hmm.
Cotton. I feel like I was talking to Steve Irwin.
Yeah. Well, closest thing to him.
Closest thing. So Robert Irwin was there
Mhm.
for Hulu, Disney, ABC. He was announced as the first celebrity contestant on Dancing with the Stars this year.
That's great.
Woo.
That's great. Should I-
Aussies.
sorry,
Thanks.
I didn't clap too. It's a massive accomplishment.
That-
Well, his sister won it, didn't she?
She did. So Bindi won in 2015. She was just 21 years old, and she was partnered with Derek Huff, who's now a judge on the show. And yeah, Robert is following in her footsteps, which is very exciting. I got to chat with him. The kindest guy.
Okay.
So
what did
sweet.
you ask? What did he say?
Okay, so we chatted about a lot of things. First of all, I was like, obviously, big congrats. We had a bit of an Aussie moment. Aussies out in LA, really trying to make it for ourselves. I think Robert's doing a little bit better than me, but whatever. He's a little bit nervous about Dancing with the Stars, even though I'm like, you dance with crocodiles, you dance with all these animals. What do you mean you're nervous about heading to the ballroom floor? He is shaking.
I bet he would be.
Yes.
That's so out of his element.
Yeah, it is. But he is excited for the jive. You know the jive?
It's a type of dance move.
Yeah, it's like kind of fast. It feels very Robert.
Okay. The jive does.
Yeah, it just feels like a Robert dance.
This feels like the last few months he's really like coming out of his shell, and here I am. I'm going to be in the industry now.
Yeah, well, since the Bonds ad,
The Bonds ad.
he catapulted to worldwide fame. I
Bonds
think.
are the underwear he was wearing in that
Yes.
shirtless snake.
He launched
ad.
Bonds underwear in the USA.
Famous Australian
Huge.
I
underwear
should get
brands.
Bonds to sponsor this podcast.
You should. We should.
We should.
We should
Okay.
wear Bonds.
Oh, and no, not only Bonds. That'd be a different show.
Oh yes. Okay.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
okay, Robert,
Yes.
what did he have to say?
What else did he say? So yeah, and I asked him who he wants to be paired with, because who you're paired with basically decides whether you're going to win or whether you're going to.
Is that right?
Well, you want someone.
Who's good at their job?
And you want well, they're all good. They're all pro dancers, but that connection, you need that connection.
Do you want like a love connection? Like a sort of like will they, won't they, Gleb and that other
Oh,
girl?
because that worked out so well.
Right.
Spoke to him too. Well, actually, it did work out well for Brooks because she's got her own show as well.
True.
No, but when I asked him, he's obviously so kind. He's not going to choose someone from the dance team. He raved about how great they are and how they're athletes and they're passionate for dancing, just like he's passionate. But he did choose Derek.
Derek Huff.
Derek Huff,
Huh.
the same person who Bindi was paired with. He wants Derek Huff.
I think, they've done that in the past, didn't? I'm trying to think of what celebrity.
But also Derek's a judge now, so I don't think it will actually work. But when I shared the clip on socials, Derek did reply and said, "Yes, I'll do it."
You could have a small part in making them a couple on the show.
I think so. I think I made it.
It's strange that I feel like Robert's everywhere now, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of him. And Bindi, I barely see.
Well, Bindi, I think is laying low. She's just a new mum.
Yeah.
She's spending time with her
But
family.
it's interesting her like making the choice. Okay, new mum. I'm going to take a step back and like.
Do you know what I also feel like? They're so supportive of each other. It almost feels like Bindi's like, you know what? I'm going to take a step back and let Robert have his time.
I would believe that.
Yeah, that family is the kindest. The way they speak
They
to
are.
each other. And I asked about how Bindi's reaction was to the Bonds ad, and it was just so cute. Like they have so much support, and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't look at it. Like it's a bit much to see my brother like that." But
They're almost too nice, Like one of those too
aren't we
nice
trying to get
people.
him on the show?
We are trying to get him on the show. Just the right amount of nice.
Yeah, he's the perfect amount of nice.
Yeah. All right. That was pretty fun, I guess.
I guess.
Oh, just the episode in general. Not your segment. Your segment was the highlight.
Thank you. Well, actually, I don't think it is. You had Dickie on and Christian.
Dickie and Christian, that's
An
right.
icon in Australia, the Harvey Levin of Australia.
You coined that term.
I did, and Dickie loved it.
He did. He really did. He
really
loved that term.
it.
All right. Thank you, Christina.
Anytime.
And we'll see you guys here next week. Goodbye.
Bye.